Thank you.
Call the meeting to order. It's a little after 6 o'clock. Vice President?
It's being recorded by Area 58.
Oh, and we're being recorded by Area 58.
All right, so one item, town meeting prep. So we have Bert moderator here, and then we have our potentially deputy moderator. So a few things just to run through. We're anticipating capacity of 400 in the gym, another 100 in the all-purpose room. If we reach a 500 or more.
I'm gonna go cut paper. You got to take notes.
Okay.
Can you guys do that?
We'll take notes. Please record it. No need to record.
All right, sure. Okay. I gotta go cut paper. We're gonna run out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So 400 in the gym, 100 in the all-purpose room. If at that point we reach capacity, we can't have the meeting because we don't have enough room. I had a conversation with Silver Lake today. Our options are not great, but these are the dates. Friday, December 20th, Monday, December 23rd, Thursday the 26th, Friday the 27th, or Monday the 30th. So I would think what we should do here is decide which night, if we have to, that we would do.
I was planning to do the New Hampshire, the end of that after Christmas. So,
I mean, if everyone's available the 20th, I would say to try to do it this week. I don't know what.
I could be available the 20th.
Just to clarify, there's no shut-off time. We can't cut the doors at 6:30 and say, hey, if you're here, you're here.
No.
They keep rolling in. We have to keep letting them in.
As long as Bert can start the meeting.
Once we start, what if we go over?
If we go over, we got to stop. If we don't have room for everyone, they're checking in.
Even after the meeting has started?
Yeah.
And then anything we do up to that point is a moot point, or let's say we vote on one of the articles but not another.
good question.
I would think, we can talk to Rich. I looked at this. I think you would basically put a pause on things. So let's say you've done one article.
Right.
You would pause it and take up the rest of town meeting. Similar to like if you have an annual town meeting, right? You only get through.
Audience though? It's a different audience. I'd imagine it's like a regular game. You have to start with the same team.
But it's similar to an annual town meeting. If we go through 20 articles and it's 1 a.m. and we say, okay, we're going to finish this tomorrow night. You don't start over. You finish.
You
move to adjourn. So that's. I think that's what we would have to do. Again,
Like a reverse quorum problem.
Yeah.
Something called quorum, we have to request it.
So at that point, on those dates, Silver Lake's the high school auditorium is available, which has a capacity of 750, and also the middle school auditorium is available, which has a capacity of 375.
The school ones, I think they have
Two
to
separated
by law.
by a line.
The cafeteria in the high school would also be available, which has a capacity of 360. The gym, we're not 100% sure of. The athletic director was looking into if that was available
Well,
on
that's a
Friday.
1,000 people just in the high school, it's in the cafeteria in the gym.
Yeah, I would think so. And also, I think if we postpone to a Friday night, you might get even less
Not for
people.
this fiscal year. No, so then.
So Friday night. I'm good. Friday's good.
Friday the 20th.
Hopefully we don't run into this.
Yeah.
I just think it's important that we're able to say, we've reached capacity. We have to have the meeting on Friday, the 20th and have the details
And it's
available.
a good problem to have. It means that people are engaged and want to.
What if people just leave?
$1,000.
And people say, oh, you know what? I'll leave. Us 50 people. We have 550. Can we get 50 people to leave? Can you do that?
Well, you wouldn't be able to allow anyone else to check in. So you basically, if everyone in the line at that point said, okay, I'm okay leaving, not being turned away, we're not turning anyone away. But if they said, we're all leave.
I'm just talking out loud, because if we can't have the meeting, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Planning grant, which is.
It's fine, we are where we are.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is the biggest building we got in town.
We have to deal with it, number one. But we can't dissolve a town meeting if we haven't addressed every article.
And we can't take the order in which we discuss things either, so.
Right, it's a lottery.
So the fire marshal thing, the capacity on the room?
No, it's just we don't have the rooms. The actual fire, the building commissioners capacity is like 7 something in the gym, but we can't fit, there's no way you're fitting 7 something in that room.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're pretty good when we go back in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I
think so.
guess what I'm saying is it's just a matter of 20, 30 chairs, maybe we can make it work.
We're standing room only in the back, kind of thing.
In that case, we've got the overflow.
Well, the overflow room, that's kind of the overflow room is our backup plan.
Right.
Um,
I just can't believe, I'm just saying, let's not just make 500, let's use a little common sense and say.
No, we will, but the
if
town
you-
clerk
if you-
also, they have to have a plan. They can't just
Right,
say,
right.
okay,
Understood.
kind of,
And how many people were there in last December?
250, and that was a pretty full room.
That was full.
So 150 more in the gym,
I was thinking closer to 400.
and then fill in the all-purpose room.
That's what we do.
Yeah, okay.
So Friday at 6.
I'd say keep it again at 6:30.
6:30?
Keep the time the same.
Yep.
So if it gets to that, then I'll make a motion
Time
to adjourn to a time specific that we Friday at 6:30.
There's a good chance we would need a deputy.
Do we know that the
That-
gym is not being used on Friday night?
That's what
You're
we're
not.
checking. So you'd have to just leave it at the building until we figure out where in the
It would be
building.
the auditorium. No, we'd say the auditorium. The
Okay.
auditorium is where we go first.
Now, do we know if Area 58 is available Friday for the auditorium?
And they can make it work, because remember, that room is already all set up. It's a lot easier for them to go in. So even if they weren't, we could handle it. I'm not.
Oh, I see. Oh.
It's not like setting it up in a gym. It's in a room that's already all, you know, it's
Already
already
wired
prepared for those things.
for performances.
The AV's already there, it's
Yep.
built in, so
Yep.
it'd be an issue. Okay, that was the first biggest thing. And then just, you have your warrants, John's gonna move the MBTA article. It's,
So in terms of recommendation, our board doesn't recommend, we haven't taken a position on either one of them, right?
Correct.
And as far as the MBTA one, the reason it's proposed by the Board of Selectmen is because we voted to put it before the town so that they can make a decision on it.
Correct.
I'll explain that, all I'm going to say is Chapter 40, Section 3A says, and the regulations with it, because the statute doesn't really say this, that Halifax is considered an MBTA community, that we have to, by the end of this month, vote to, or institute an overlay district that fits within the requirements of the MBTA multi-district, or multi-unit district. The proposal does fit that qualification, and it's up to the town as to what they want to do.
Are you reading a statement on your personal topics like you did? At the last
I'm not
meeting?
gonna, no,
Are
I'm
you?
gonna stay out.
I think I'm gonna.
I was going to as well.
Is that okay?
Stay out of it or make?
Make a statement.
Yeah,
So do we,
okay.
so when we open the meeting and John does that, and it goes to Bert, does Bert go to the finance committee and us first before the public?
so
or-
typically what Bert does is he'll, you know, John will move the question.
It's our article. so-
Yeah,
and then-
so usually I ask
So
anyone
I'll
that
I'll make
first.
that, unless you guys want to do it. but
No,
I'll make
no,
the
no,
initial
go ahead.
presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, then what I'll say is,
You're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I do have a sign that says aim tomatoes, John.
but anyway, all right, so then what I'll do is I'll say, and Jonathan and Tom both have, they want to make statements on this.
Okay.
Perfectly fine.
But we are not making a body stand as a recommended or not.
As
correct?
far as the board, we never voted on it.
Yeah, we tabled it tonight, maybe we can take a vote tonight or not, but that's what we done, we tabled it, which is fine. Okay, so then it goes to the finance committee, and
And
then,
then I ask the finance committee
Okay.
for their recommendation.
okay, and then it opens up.
Whoever makes the motion typically gets to sit and talk first.
Okay.
All right.
And then on the other one, the same thing, we've never made a recommendation. What I will say is that this came in at the very last minute. It's a petition article. And actually, I'm not going to move it, that would be up to the petitioner.
It's up to petitioner to move the article.
Right, I'm gonna ask you.
When they get to that article, and you say,
Yeah.
okay, this is Article 2, and then the Goodman or somebody else going to have to.
Yep, Mr. Goodman.
Yeah.
And if
Ask him
anybody
to speak
asks
to
our
his,
opinion,
to his
we're going
own.
to say, well, you know, we haven't taken a position on this because it came at the last minute, it's a petition article, no one talked to us about
Did
it.
town council get back to you on,
They did, so the whole Hanson thing, basically, they went back to, it is considered, right, it's considered, it's considered a great pond, so as a result, any regulations require approval by the state, which I've said, you guys know that,
Yeah.
which is where it comes in, you need the approval of the director, and the commissioner of the Environmental Protection agency. And if it did pass, it would only be subject to the Halifax portion of the bond. How do you differentiate what's Halifax and
God,
what's
you
not?
have so much vigilante justice out there, it's unbelievable.
And then as far as the question of state public access ramp, right? If a Hanson resident, right, wants to launch their boat with the state public access ramp,
So Cody did send out a list of the costs.
I'm not sure what enforcement, we have to send it to the Public Access Commission, Public Access Board, for them to approve it as well. And we haven't, we don't know what they're gonna say. So that's another step in the process. I had reached out to him, Doug is the director, and I never heard back from him.
So, I mean, if we're asked,
Right.
could say, we've seen it, we have a lot of questions about it, and also questions on enforcement.
And I would be okay with, given these new questions that came up, I would be strongly urging maybe we circle back in May.
That's what they're gonna do.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that makes the most
they're
sense to
prepared
me.
for that.
So I think, so yeah, someone can always make
That's what we told them a long time.
a motion to postpone, indefinitely postpone.
Yeah, just because like there's just there are a lot of holes that we need answered.
So they withdraw?
We could make, if they
They
were,
could withdraw, they could make a motion
if they
to
want to pass
postpone.
over.
Pass over, yeah.
Well, I think
Won't pass over.
they're gonna send it to a vote, and they're gonna recirculate back in May, is what they'll do. They're hoping to get it done tonight. I'm just letting you know what they're
That
planning.
doesn't, I mean, nothing, if anybody asks, what I'm gonna say is that, you know, we haven't had a chance to look in, no one asked us our opinion on it, we haven't really been involved in this.
Yeah.
You know, we do have questions on enforcement, but if the town wants it, then we will deal with it.
Yeah.
So
Chief
when I
Showers
ask
will
for
be here
the
too.
recommendation of the selectmen, who would you like me to select?
Unless you guys want it, I'll do it.
Sounds good.
John.
That's exactly what.
They're already not gonna like them to do the first one, so.
Well, it could be the second one. You don't know which
Yeah.
order. You know, you never know.
Yeah, what you gotta do, I think Italians go.
I hope so. I hope so.
Wait a minute, the secret handshake's coming.
You don't worry unless we do this.
Like you're not standing on plastic anyway. You know?
All right, is that it?
Bert, do you have any questions?
Any questions?
I really don't. I think we touched touch base on the other thing.
If someone calls the question.
If somebody does call the question, and it's before the debate starts, I am gonna rule it out of order until we at least have some debate.
Up to you.
Because I don't think, yes,
Yeah, you don't wanna
because I
cut it.
don't think you can end debate if there is no debate. You know?
We
Just
mentioned,
why don't you explain that?
Yes.
we mentioned it earlier too, are we prepared to deal with outside speakers? We're on the same page about like if one Commonwealth wants to speak, which I've heard is a possibility. That's the,
Any opinion,
Yeah.
you
You say
shouldn't,
one Commonwealth,
those are people going door to door
An
soliciting for the
advocacy
advocacy group.
the only outside speaker that I would anticipate you may, I don't even think it will come up, but you may have to allow, or may want to allow, I should say, is if there's a question about the law that none of us can answer. Old Colony Planning Council won't be here. They're gonna be off to the side in the visitor section, but if there's some weird question about, it's a fact-based, not an opinion-based question.
Yeah.
A fact-based question on something that none of us know. Again, fair, I don't even know what it would be. Yeah.
Maybe one of us can, maybe walk over there and ask them.
Well, I would just be prepared, I think that's gonna come up. So, make sure we know what to handle it.
the way I feel about it is that, I mean, we've seen the line when we came up here, there's enough people, residents of town that want to speak to it. I wouldn't be in favor of asking for a political group to make a statement or opinion when we have people in town that need to and want to speak to it.
So
That's,
the only issue though is if somebody makes that motion, you say, I move that we allow Mr. So-and-so to address town meeting, he's not a town meeting member, somebody seconds it.
You have to take a vote.
Then you say, well, it's 2/3 vote, no, it's a majority vote. Majority vote, it's up to the town, if you want to debate it, whatever, just like anything else, any other motion.
Yeah. So if they make a formal motion, you have to take the vote.
But it would have to be from a resident. Yeah, it would have to be,
The resident makes the motion.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Town meeting member.
Rich,
Talking about to allow
Should be.
an out-of-town speaker.
Right.
Out of town, yeah, out
Right.
of town. Okay.
The only ones that have the right to speak that aren't town meeting members are heads of department.
Chiefs and department heads.
Chiefs, those people. They have the right
Yes, they do,
to stand up.
according to our bylaw.
Right.
If we do end up in the overflow room, we'll have the video set up.
And this, I assume those
Yep,
are
we'll
the...
have the screen.
Does it show a hand standing? How do you do it? How do you want to do it?
Green, red.
Green, red.
Yeah, red card.
If it's
That-
close,
the
Bert,
colorblind guy thing.
Oh, that reminds me, so on the, we talked about this the other night, so it, on a total number, how are we gonna do that?
I think you need to do
Standing count?
counters. I think if we end up in an overflow room, I think your best bet is do each vote with the counters.
Susan has
Because,
counters?
yeah, we'll have 10 of them.
10.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
it would be 6 in the main room, 4 in
so
the...
in other words, like, it could be, 100% in the overflow room and a certain number in the other room.
It's based on the total, correct.
So, do they need a count, or only if it's accurate, or only if it's close to the count?
But the problem is if you...
he see the
if
other
it's-
room?
No, yeah, he'll be able to see the other room, but let's say
We're coming to your
you might win majority in one room.
That means I don't have to drive.
Maybe you win a little more than majority in
That's
one
overwhelming.
room, but you're a little under majority in the other room. You don't know what the actual count is. You just, so you need a total number.
So we're going
If
to be
it's both
asking for
rooms.
numbers.
but if
He couldn't ask me, do I have a majority by show?
No, because
No,
your
it doesn't
majority, you
matter.
could both,
Well, if your majority's the same color, you're fine.
Well, if he said you have, and I say yes I do, he said what is it? And I say it's yay.
It's green.
It's green.
yeah, but the problem
If
is...
he's green, then you
If
could.
they're both green, we're good.
If it's not a 2/3, so if
It is
it's,
2/3.
if it's someone calls the question, we'll need 2/3.
Okay. So you'll be asking me for the numbers.
Yes.
I'll get the totals, I'll total up my counters.
And I was wondering if it is close, Bert, would you want to do them at the same time? Hold your red and your green at the same time to see both colors at once to help you, you know, kind of get a better idea as to what the majority
It's
is.
easier
What
to count
hap-
one at a time.
What happens though is when he says, raise your card yes for green, the reds go up at the same time. People preemptively put their reds up when he asks for green. So
That has happened.
that happens more often than not. From the, I can tell you from the crowd, I can see them like,
Yeah.
he didn't ask for red,
Yeah,
Gordon, but he put it right up.
I think it's still the safest way, we only have 2 articles.
One at a
Yeah.
time.
And maybe you move the question, so maybe we have 3 votes on that.
Yeah.
And I think to do it like, you know,
I'm gonna do it
count them
separate.
in your room, count in your room, and Susan totals them, the number is of those.
Yeah, right, all the total.
Okay, now let me ask you this, along the same with, like you guys were just talking, he's in a smaller room, it's easy to use him as an example. If it's unanimous in the all-purpose, there, no red card even went up.
We still don't know
It's
what the number is.
Because that could be less than the difference.
No, but if the big room's a majority
Yeah,
and it's an overwhelming majority in the other room.
I think if you have 2 majorities, you're fine.
Yeah, I don't
as
see
long
that
as it's
being
just
a-
on the 2 articles.
Right.
If someone calls the question, if anything comes up where you need a 2/3, so if someone calls the question, I go automatically to the counters,
Yeah.
if we're in both rooms. If
So the moderator is supposed to decide the vote, essentially. And if you have any question about it, if you don't have any question about it, you say it's all red here and all red there, and say, no, there's no green cards ever came up, then you can make, you can make that call. If you have any question about it, then you're gonna have to take the next step.
or if somebody asks for a
They let the
not a
challenge
reconsider, a
vote.
recount.
Seven people have to agree.
That's correct.
So I challenge the vote, and 7 people stand up and say, I challenge it also, then we have to have a vote.
And there's a microphone for people that want to speak to the questions.
That's our agenda, ladies and gentlemen.
Overflow room.
So,
Will there be a
Watch
microphone?
it, take them over there, so.
Yeah, we can go down one.
Yeah,
So motion
there will be.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Right now, there won't be.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Question?
Yeah.
No,
That's all. I mean, I don't think
6:23.
I just wanted to make sure if people want to speak to the question, they can do it from that one.
Do we have to vote for the